Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. So happy to have you. So in today's video, I am going to share some very simple DIYs that I did around my house, starting with this vase that I picked up from Kirkland's several years ago. I think I got it for like 25-30 bucks. It was a great deal. I decided though I no longer wanted this green glass look anymore, so I went ahead and picked up some acrylic paint, added some baking soda, and gave it a very pretty ceramic look. The baking soda added to the acrylic paint gives it that ceramic look and feel. Then in a few minutes here, you'll see I take some decorative wax and an artist sponge, damp it, and then dab the wax, dab it all over the vase, smear it to just really give it a very rich look with a lot of dimension. It's really, really pretty in the end. Well, I think it's really pretty in the end. I think you will too. So you do have to go in with a couple of coats because you can see there's several spots still showing, but you want to let the paint dry in between, like totally dry, because if you just keep painting several coats on top and it's not dry, it'll just smear. So the color that I used for this vase was by the company Apple Barrel in matte, and the color is Country Tan. And I didn't mix anything as far as colors, just that color, Country Tan, and some baking soda. And then, like I said, I go in with some finishing wax here, top coat, and it just says in the color brown. So I go ahead and start dabbing it, and then you'll see after I dab it, I don't really like the way that's looking, so then I just go and smear it all over the vase, and it just ends up looking like, in my opinion, a piece that you would see at Pottery Barn for a lot more money than what I ended up paying for this. So with the cost of the vase originally being 25-30 bucks and a couple bucks for the paint and the wax, it ended up being just such an affordable DIY that I think looks so pretty in the end. So for my next DIY, I'm going to share how I transformed this silver bell to match this gold bell that you can find, if you're lucky, from TJ Maxx and Marshall's. It is so hard to find, so when I saw the silver one sitting on the shelf, I decided let me get it and see if I can try to transform it. So I picked up some of this metallic gold spray paint from Michael's, gave it a few coats of paint, then I let it dry completely. And you'll see coming up here in a second, I go in with that same decorative wax and an artist sponge, and I dab it all over the candle. And then it still didn't have the look that I wanted, so I went in with some acrylic paint and I stippled with a paintbrush all around the candle to really give it that aged antique look. I really hope you enjoy. So for my next DIY, I decided I wanted to try to replicate these beautiful bells that you can get on Etsy for almost 80 bucks. So I thought that was rather pricey, so I wanted to try to make my own. So I found these really pretty hook stands on the Hallmark's website, had some matte black spray paint on hand, so I decided to paint them because I really wanted to replicate the stands as well. I love the black stands against the gold bells. I just thought it was so pretty. So then I ended up picking up this 3-pack of beautiful bells on Amazon, and I believe it was 18 bucks for the 3 of these, so I thought that was a really good deal. I went in again with that decorative wax with an artist sponge, and I just dabbed it all over the bells, let them dry, and you'll see the finished look coming up. I think they turned out pretty good. So for my next DIY, I am going to paint these porcelain Christmas trees with some acrylic paint and baking soda, again, to give it that ceramic look. So for this first tree, I'm going in with the color Country Tan. And then I have a combination for the other trees that I paint. One is mixed with the dark chocolate, territorial beige, and tan color. And then I have another tree that is mixed with the territorial beige and just the dark chocolate. As far as I know, that is how the different combinations that I ended up using to achieve the colors that you're going to see in the end. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. Honestly, though, these trees, I thought this was going to be the easiest DIY, and painting these porcelain trees with this acrylic paint and the baking soda took quite a bit of time and several coats, because even though I would let it dry completely in between, I would still experience an issue with going in again with a second and third coat with the paint still kind of moving around and showing like white spots through. So I just wasn't sure what was going on, but it was getting really, really frustrating in the end. But all in all, I am very happy with the way they turned out.
It's just gonna be you and me, hang by the fire and chill. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. Oh, and I've been longing to hold you close. Forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed to be?
So for this next DIY, I decided to pick up this frame for $5 from the clearance section at Home Goods. And then I went to Etsy and paid to download some of these really cute Christmas prints. And then I uploaded them to the Walmart Photo Center, had them printed out and sent to my house. And then I decided, I had already decided when I picked up the frame that I was going to paint it because it was in pretty bad shape. So you'll see me going in here with this Country Tan color, and I'm painting it by hand. But in the end, I ended up going in with a spray paint by the brand, I think it's called Color Shot, and I sprayed them in the color Root Beer, because the painting it by hand was just leaving too many streaks on this frame. So that is why I decided to change the color and go with a spray paint as well. But in the end, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I highly recommend spray painting a picture frame versus painting it by hand, because that just did not look right. So anyway, hope you enjoy.
forget about everyone else. Isn't this how it's supposed?
So for my final DIY, I am going to attempt to make my own gingerbread houses. Now I'm sure you've seen this trend all over social media and here on YouTube. It is very popular this year, so I thought, why not try it out myself? I had these black metal houses that I was no longer using, so I repurposed them for this project, and I really love the way they turned out in the end. I picked up this spray paint from Michael's in the brand Color Shot in 2 different colors, one in brownie points and the other in root beer float. And I will say, I love the darker color for a gingerbread house. Now I know the typical color that you normally see is that really golden tan brown color, and it is beautiful, but I just thought change it up and go with a more richer, darker, deeper color, and that is what I did. I have seen this color on other decor sites and loved it, so that's why I decided to go with this color instead. I do use this Craft Smart paint marker, and I will say I do not recommend. It dried out and then the other one leaked. It was a mess. It was very frustrating. So you'll see a different brand I recommend coming up. And of course, I am going to reference the Pottery Barn homes to help guide me through while I design the houses. I really hope that you enjoy. So this is the paint marker that I recommend over the other one. I will have it linked down below. This one is so much better. Then I also want to mention that I go in with puff paint around the roof and I guess what would be the gutters and around the chimney. And I love the way it looks. It just amplifies the house that much more. So using just a paint marker, everything looks very flat. So going in and adding puff paint around the windows, the door frame, the roof, and like I said, the chimney and around the edges of the roof, I guess where the, gutters would be in a sense. I just think it amplified everything. It just gave it such a cuter look in the end. You'll see here coming up, but I highly recommend doing that. And I should also note, I went in and traced the house with the paint marker, or not the house, the roof with the paint marker, and then ended up just going in and covering it with the puff paint. So you don't really need to do that step first and then the puff paint. Just go in with the puff paint. It's so much easier and an unnecessary step that you don't need to do. So that would be my recommendation. But yeah, so hope you enjoy. So that's a wrap on this DIY video. I really hope that you enjoyed and that it provided you some inspiration and that maybe you'll try some of these techniques out on some of the items in your home. Again, thank you so much for being here with me today. Coming up on my channel, we will jump into all of the decorating. I cannot wait. And if you are not subscribed, I really hope that you'll consider subscribing. I have some fun content coming up and I would love to have you here. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.